Shalom, friends. Welcome to the Shear in Ramchal, Moshe, Chaim, Luzzatto. We're learning the Maamar HaIkarim. This is the essay on some of the most essential concepts in Judaism, in the Torah, and in life itself. We're currently on section number 5 out of 10 sections. It is a smaller section, but I'm going to do it just as an individual video, and thereafter each particular section, even though it may be slightly shorter than the previous shiurim, they will also be in separate videos. Please do check out the following videos afterwards. And of course, if you haven't yet watched the previous videos, please go back and keep in touch with what's going on from before so you can follow on in what is going on afterwards. If you did follow on from before, you'll recall that we learned about such issues as free choice and rewards and punishments. Well, in this particular shiur that we're doing today, we're going to be learning about the section of the Maamar HaIkarim, this essay of most essential concepts in Judaism. Well, one of these sections is the concept of Gan Eden and Gehinnom. Gan Eden, translated loosely, refers to the Garden of Eden, and Gehinnom refers to the other side of the next world for those who don't enter into this beautiful Garden of Eden, commonly translated as the world of hell, but that's a very bad translation, and as we're going to see in a moment, it is not appropriate really to call it that. We're going to discuss it in the context of how we need to understand it. So basically the principle is we have free choice. You can choose to do whatever you want to do in the world, and thereafter there is a concept of reward and punishment, which basically means we are responsible for the things that we do. When we do things correctly, it progresses into consequences that are good. And when we do things that are inappropriate, it basically progresses into stages of situations and paths in life and so on as we progress throughout our soul journey into a way of punishments and those things that are going to go against us, both in this world and, of course, in the world to come. What you see in the background behind me, you see beautiful, luscious looking grass. And of course, in our minds, we imagine that this Gan Eden, this Garden of Eden, that when we leave this world, perhaps we're going to be in this beautiful palace where there is beautiful grass, green grass. It all looks beautiful, and we're going to be jumping about and walking around, etc., etc. Well, the Ramchal is going to tell us it's not exactly like that, but let us see in more detail how this all pans out. So we're looking over here at the heading, the Gan Eden, the Gehinnom, the world of, in other words, the Garden of Eden, and the world of Gehinnom, of what we call in English hell, this world of punishment. V'hinei, says the Ramchal, behold, there are places that are prepared for the souls when they leave the body. In this world, we said it's all free choice. We can do whatever we want to do. But then the consequences. We're going to leave this world one day. It happens to the best of us. Nobody can escape it. We can try to take medications. We can try to various health diets. We can do all sorts of things in this world, and we can keep ourselves as healthy as possible with all sorts of devices. But rest assured, nobody escapes from this world alive. We are all going to leave this world, and we're going to enter into another world afterwards. This is the world of the spirit, where the soul is going to exit the body, and there we're going to live the lifestyle of who we really are. Let us remember, in this world, we are just a soul inside a body, and the body does all sorts of things. We eat and we drink, and we take care of our bodies, and we exercise, and we clean our bodies. We do all sorts of things with our bodies, and they help us in our lives. But essentially, we are ourselves, and when we leave this world at the end of 70, 80, 120 years, the moment we leave, we enter into an existence that pertains to us as to who we really are. So the soul is going to leave the body. Echad lanuach bo im zeiche adzman hatria. Now, what's going to happen is the soul is going to leave the body, and one of the places that we can go to when we leave this world is a place that is restful for a person, if a person merits it, until the time of the resurrection. The Ramchal has discussed this theme many times over. We know in the Rambam's 13 principles of faith that one of the things that we believe in is that not only is the Mashiach going to come and redeem us from the difficulties that we go through in this world, but there's also going to be a moment where all the souls that have left this world will return back into this world, into the bodies as we have today. Of course, more purified, more ethereal bodies. It's going to be a very beautiful moment, but there's going to be this resurrection. Now, until the resurrection occurs, all the souls are going to remain behind in this higher world, and they're going to be active, involved in a world of what we call rest. Now, when we say active, it means that the essential state is going to be one of growth, and yet at the same time, it is a world of nourishment, satiation, rest, and happiness. This, of course, is for the person who is deserving of it, says the Ramchal. He chose the right choices in life. Free choice, he receives the rewards, and when he leaves this world, he receives the rewards in spiritual form. And then there is another world where a person is purified from whatever it needs to be purified due to, he goes through various punishments. If he has various sins, and that is what's preventing him from the state of tranquility, the state of rest. If a person is liable for various things, then when he enters into the next world, he will not be able to enter into a world of rest because there is some sort of dross that covers the soul. And until all of this dross is removed and purified, just like gold needs purification and various other metals require purification before they reach their state of beauty, of purity, so too the soul also requires this purification before it can enter into this world of rest. V'hine, and behold, makom hamenucha, this place of rest, nikra Gan Eden. This is known as, it's called the Garden of Eden. Apparently, this would be the place that Adam Harishon, the very first person in this world, was placed in at the time of creation, together with his wife Chava, with Eve. This was the Garden of Eden. Let us remember again, when we speak about the Garden of Eden, that they were placed in a place which was only the garden. They were not in Eden itself. They were in the Garden of Eden, which means to say that there is an area that goes even deeper into the aspect of pleasure, of closeness to God, that we never even reached. Nobody ever got there. That is the world of Eden, of Eden. In the meantime, we're placed in the garden until further notice, when God will bring complete redemption to the world and all the souls will ascend ultimately to this very beautiful area. First Gan Eden, and then Be'ezrat Hashem to an even higher area, whether that takes 1,000 years or 2,000 years or 3,000 years, depending, of course, on how all of the Mekubalim, all the Kabbalists understand these various cycles. Now there are many levels. There is what's called the lower Garden of Eden and the higher, upper Garden of Eden. This is what we go through. There are different places. There is a place that is slightly lower in its pleasures, in the soul pleasures, and there is a place that is higher in the soul pleasures. Now, this could be compared to, for example, a person who has wealth. One person has $5 million, another person has $50 million, and another person has $1 billion. Well, the person that has 5 million or 10 million, he can buy himself a very beautiful home, and it's worth $1 million or $2 million. But in comparison to the person who has $50 million, $500 million, or $1 billion, the chances of his home being in the same type of beauty and palatial type of appearance in comparison to each other is incomparable. The fellow with the $1 billion will be able to own a palace which is so much more beautiful than the beautiful home that the person who has $1 million or $5 million is able to purchase. This is the same case in Gan Eden. When we leave this world, depending on our deeds, so will we merit a palace, each of us, to the degree that we have worked towards. Again, this does not mean a physical palace that we are going to enter and we're going to walk around and we're going to enjoy the rooms and the luxuries and the wonderful sofas and the television sets, whatever we can imagine in our minds. but rather we refer to spiritual joys, spiritual pleasures, spiritual palaces. Betachton, in the bottom, the souls sit over there in the image of bodies, shehayubam, in which they were from before, which basically means you can imagine, so to speak, a spiritual entity which has some sort of a resemblance, some sort, to the physicality of what the person lived in when he was in this world. This is a little bit ridiculous in a certain respect to think about that we're existing in physical bodies. This is not true at all. What we mean to say is that the spiritual garb that is surrounding a person in this lower Gan Eden is a resemblance to the physicality that he lived in when he was in this physical body. He still holds on somehow, in some sort of a way, to the idea of the physicality from which he has come. Now the soul enjoys there from various pleasures which relate to spirituality. And this place that has been prepared for all of these wonderful types of pleasures, they have already been set up over there for a person to experience. The home is ready for the person. He leaves this world, he enters into this pleasurable chamber in which his soul shines, so to speak, with a resemblance of the body from which he came from, says the Ramchal. Ober Elyon, in the higher Gan Eden, the souls are sitting over there in an aspect of souls in reality. They are like souls as souls should be, with, it seems to be, absolutely no resemblance to the body at all. And there they are enjoying all types of spiritual pleasures, great and exalted, more so than the pleasures of those who are below. Obviously, this is the idea, different levels. Let's give an example for one moment. Think about this for a second. If you've got this far in watching this lesson, probably you're enjoying something about it. It's not necessarily my presentation. Perhaps what you're enjoying more is the contents of the lesson itself. Now, not everybody enjoys it. That's why there are the amount of views that you see at this point in time on this video. Some people watch a few minutes and they've had enough. Other people watch a little longer, and some people never even get to look at the video in the first instance. They feel it's not for them. Now imagine that you were to put this video on for the people who don't enjoy it at all. So to these people, such an experience would be a punishment. Whereas to the person who enjoys the contents of the Torah and the spirituality that's being discussed, the video becomes a mechaya. The video becomes a life-giving force to a person. When a person leaves this world, he is only going to receive the reward in accordance with what it is that he's able to receive. Because even if you were to put him into a higher level, he would be unable to appreciate the wonderful world that he would find himself in then. A person is given the station in accordance with the level to which he works towards. A person, for example, if you imagine, who does not understand mathematics, he doesn't enjoy it, and you put him into the mathematics class given by Einstein. Now, Einstein is giving a wonderful lesson here on the secrets of mathematics. But since this person has no clue what mathematics is, when he sits in the lesson, he cannot bear listening to these words. It's a waste of his time. And there in the same lesson are great PhD students who are thirsting for the words of Einstein. And to them, when they hear this lesson, they are completely inspired. They don't want to leave the lesson. They love it. When a person leaves this world, he will be given a place in the next world in accordance with what is best for him. And he might think that there is somewhere that is greater, it's more pleasurable, but to him it will be less pleasurable. He doesn't enjoy the beauty of the spirituality that he's absorbing at that point in time. He needs to grow further. Until he would grow to that level, he would never come to appreciate what it is that he's been given in the higher Gan Eden. So this is his situation. The higher level has greater and more exalted, wonderful things going on than the lower level. V'yesham chiluf zmanim, and he says over there that within this Gan Eden that we're going to be going towards, there is an exchange of times, v'shinui itim, and a change of seasons. It seems again that even though we are going to a world which apparently has no relation to time and space, there is some sort of a connection to the concept of time, whereby there is an exchange of timing periods, an exchange of seasonal periods. Perhaps it relates directly to where we are over here, that there is summer and there is winter and there is autumn and there is spring, and so to speak, when we exist in that world, there are changes occurring within a spiritual concept of the seasons that exist in the spiritual world. Lahanos sheinos, and what's happening there is there's a different types of benefits, and there are all sorts of things that are changing, different levels that a person will therefore get benefit from in that next world. This is basically what we call the Gan Eden. Gehinnom. When we speak about Gehinnom, this world of what we call in English hell, it is a place where it is fitting for the souls to get punished. And there in this world comes to these souls oppression, distress, afflictions, pains, according to what is appropriate for them, according to their matters. What exactly is punishment? Well, first of all, let's not forget, in the next world, we are not bodies. Since we are not bodies, the affliction that can occur cannot be towards the body. The body is buried. The body is finished. It is lying in the ground somewhere. The soul has ascended on high, and now it is receiving some sort of an affliction. Well, let us think for a moment. What type of affliction could we cause the soul were there not to be a body? Let us think for a second. Here is an idea. A person caused tremendous embarrassment or harm to another person in this world. When he arrives at the next world, he realizes the harm that he caused that person. And he realizes what he did to that person just with his words, or a push, or a look, or whatever it was that he did to him. But he suddenly realizes what he did wrong. He wishes he could take it all back. He wishes he could change the situation. Unfortunately, he cannot change it. Life is finished, and the life of that other person will finish too, or perhaps has finished already. He cannot take it back. He cannot make a change for the distress that he caused the other. But now in the next world, as he begins to feel this, there is a burning sensation. Within his own soul, there's a terror. There's a type of feeling where he says, why did I do that? I didn't realize that I caused this person so much harm. Why didn't I help him when I could have? Why didn't I listen? Why did I hurt him so much with the words that I chose? Whatever it is, this is the affliction of the soul. This is the affliction of the Gehinnom. One suddenly realizes what the truth is, and the pain begins to burn away into the soul. The soul suddenly realizes who it is, what it has achieved, and what it has done to others. When one realizes that the things that one did wrong, these things are really wrong, these things were really wrong, then of course this brings an affliction onto the soul. Until when? Until the process of the healing takes place. And of course that is a very good word to use, healing. A person accidentally cuts himself, and now he must undergo an operation to clean out the wound and clear everything up and allow the healing to take place. As he does so, when the surgeon cuts through the skin, there is pain. When the person wakes up from the anesthetic, there is pain, there is discomfort. But the person begins to realize this is the healing process. It is not a punishment. It is the process a person needs to go through in order to heal. The world of Gehinnom is not a world where God is attacking us, a vengeful and a revengeful and a God filled with anger towards us, as if he's going to destroy us in the next world as much as he destroys us over here. Rather, God is the surgeon with a capital S, and he takes good care of us, The concept is he wishes the soul to reach its state of perfection. If we do things against God's will, we do not follow the Torah as we should, we do not study the Torah as we should, we do not put into practice the things that we need to put into practice, it is like creating a cut in our bodies and a wound which is in need of healing. When the surgeon begins the process of the healing, at that point in time, the person feels the pain, but it's okay. It is not a negative pain. It is not a punishment. The pain of the healing, in fact, is a cure, and in fact is almost, so to speak, a reward that the person, when he finishes, will feel the healing and he will come right. This is the concept that we wish to speak about in the idea of Gehinnom. It is a healing process. Things are going to come right. It is not pleasant to receive the injection when we need a filling in our mouth, but it is a lot worse to have the tooth open and exposed to dealing with all the food and everything else, and the pain that will come about due to the nerves touching the food and destroying one's whole being as a result of the fact that the tooth is exposed. So we need the filling. The filling is not the punishment of the dentist, but the child thinks that the filling is a punishment. The parent has sent me, mommy sent me to the dentist to be punished for my sins. What did I do wrong? Mommy said I should brush my teeth in a certain way, and I didn't used to brush my teeth. Now she has sent me to the terrible dentist who is here to punish and afflict me, and I will feel this pain of the injection, and I will feel the pain of the filling taking place, and the numb mouth, and whatever else goes with it. But the reality is, everybody is looking out for the best of the child. The dentist really wants to heal the child. The mother wants to heal the child. And quite frankly, if the child would only have brushed his teeth correctly in the first instance, he may not have needed the surgery. But unfortunately, life takes place, and sometimes one needs surgery. So too in this particular instance, when we leave the world, all the muck, all the dross that exists upon us comes about from all the things that we do in this world that we shouldn't do. The moment that we engage in the process of tshuva, and of course all the more so when we die, the process takes place that the surgeon comes to the rescue and begins the process of healing. The process of healing occurs in the office of the surgeon, and this office is known as Gehinnom, what we call in English the world of hell, simply because we believe that there are fires and there are all sorts of beings that have horns and forks, and they're red and they're glowing and all sorts of things like this, crazy ideas. But when one goes to the dentist and one feels the feeling of an injection and the drilling that goes on, that is worse than the feeling of some sort of being with a fork and redness and fire glowing from him. This in itself is a great pain. This is the world of Gehinnom, which is brought upon us by ourselves because we don't do what we're supposed to do in this world. Once we get our lives in order and we do as we're supposed to do, that in itself will bring us into the world of Gan Eden. So in this world of Gehinnom that we're speaking about, he says over here that v'yesh madregos shonos, there are different levels shel tsa'ar, of distress. Naturally so, because if a person has harmed another or oneself in a certain way, then the pain that one undergoes is in accordance with the particular thing that was done as it should not have been done. And just as there are different levels within the world of pleasure, so too there are different levels in the world of the affliction. Now with this distress, with this pain, those who have committed sins will be cleansed from their sin. And if they are deserving afterwards of reward, they will be purified from their sin, and they will go to the world of resting. If not, he doesn't get to be on that level that he can be purified, yanshu ad avdam. Then the person will be punished until the degree where the whole soul could be wiped out of all existence, God forbid. And the Ramchal concludes and says, V'davazeh lo yikar Yisrael. This thing does not happen amongst the Jewish people, Ela ma'at min ha'ma'at. He says, the littlest of the little. It happens in the smallest amount. When we speak about the Jewish nation, it is clear that at the end of the day, the Jewish people will all be purified, and as a result, everybody will enter into the Gan Eden at some point in time. Some people might take longer to get there, some people might take shorter, but at the end of the day, the Ramchal tells us it is not a hopeless situation. We all stand the chance, and if we do the right thing, of course, we will reach that level and enter into Gan Eden. So this particular lesson was a bit shorter than usual. I hope you tune in to the next lesson, which is also a fairly short lesson. And we'll conclude, again, another topic in the main essential concepts as brought down by the Ramchal in the world of Torah and Judaism. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Eliyahu Shear from Loving Kindness, from Chesed Ve'emet, www.lovingkindness.co. Of course, if you enjoyed this shiur, please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Also to like the video by simply clicking on the thumbs up underneath the video, and share the video with friends and family. Please help me to share my channel with others, to subscribe and to watch these videos, and to help me progress in my own teaching, and of course, to provide teaching further to those who might enjoy it. If you're able to help me in some way, in a financial respect, and you'd like to join our team at Chesed Ve'emet, please do come to visit the site and either become a member or alternatively join me on my Patreon site, www.patreon.com/Eliyahu Shear. And there you can offer a donation of whatever you're able to each month, $1, $2, whatever you can afford, make a difference in my life and help me to be able to have the time to provide more of these videos. Thanks again for joining me. I wish you everything of the best, and I look forward to the next shiur. Take care. Shalom, shalom. Bye-bye.